Where's the
I'm a huge fan, and I've always wanted to be the voice of some character. And when I heard it was a giraffe, I was just really excited. I don't know if it was a thing that they had written or not, but when they were talking about how he was neurotic and a hypochondriac and paranoid, I felt that, sorry, that's the spot. Oh, I'm in heaven.
He's happy with his phobias, you know, complete hypochondriac. There's Kleenex boxes on his feet, but he loves it. It's a zoo transfer.
Zoo transfer? Oh, no. No, I can't be transferred. I have an appointment with Dr. Goldberg at 5.
Gloria! Alex! Well, I would describe...
Oh, yeah, I see...
Just having cute furry animals.
As you can tell, I am the cutest voice in Hollywood.
Just having cute furry animals isn't enough. The road to Madagascar has got to be fun and entertaining. To the filmmakers, Alex the Lion isn't the king. The story is.
This film had a great premise. What if you took the cast assignment though and threw them in the jungle? You know, how would they adapt? Then you can take it into storyboard and have artists work on it and start to flesh out these scenes.
There's so many fun ideas that immediately pump into it. You describe that basic idea, and everybody gets it. They go, oh yeah, I see what you could do with that. Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. And I think that's always what you want to try to have with an animated film.
The irony of the story is that these two best friends don't know that in the wild they are natural enemies. He doesn't realize that his friends are actually food that he might eat.
I don't see anything.
How many times have you wanted to take a bite out of your best friend's butt? I mean, it happens.
So to have these two characters that are best friends in great contrast to their sort of natural behavior just made sense from the very start. Along the way, there's a disaster at sea and the crates are washed overboard and the animals wash ashore on the island of Madagascar. When they realize they've been dumped into the wild, it's time to panic for everybody except Marty the zebra, who gets his dream. Marty! Hey! Hold on! Hold up! Oh!
Here are these citified, civilized lion and a zebra and a giraffe and a hippopotamus wandering around out there in this world, and suddenly they gotta figure it out.
Part of the reason why the Zoosters are on Madagascar is because of a group of displaced penguins who are on a mission of their own.
The penguins are really there for comedy relief.
And they really are whacked. You know, they're just nuts.
They just want to get out of the zoo. And they're this team, well-oiled machine who stick together, follow orders, get the job done.
But face extreme peril. The private probably won't survive.
Once on the island, Alex, Marty, Melvin, and Gloria encounter wildlife much different from what they were used to in the Central Park Zoo.
Well, basically what's going on in Madagascar, we're there. We're really kind of party kind of animals. We have one main threat, which is the Fusa, and the Fusa eat us. And we happen to witness the lion scare the Fusa off. So we think, oh, well, now maybe we got some friends. So we try to befriend these guys. As we go through the story, I'm always weary of the lion, Ben Stiller. I'm just not, everybody else seems to think this guy's a great guy. Me being a smart one, number two, I'm thinking, I don't know, guys. What big teeth you have.
Shame on you, Maurice. You do not see that you have insulted the freak? Each one of our movies is meant to take our audience to someplace they've never been before. Madagascar, we know we're going to go to this amazing, world that nobody's ever, really imagined or seen before, at least not the way we've done it.
It was an out-and-out comedy. We knew that from the beginning. So that kind of gave us some ideas initially.
We really wanted to push the design. We wanted to create characters that were overly stylized, not based on reality. so that we could just have a lot of fun with how they looked and how they moved. They could be very human-like when we wanted them to.
Just smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. The main characters were designed by Craig Young, and he's a fantastic artist. He based his original designs off Golden Book, those old children's books, which were very simplified, straights against curves.
I was also influenced by the old remasters, the old 50s remastered. I thought it'd be cool to have a slick 3D movie that looked like those.
Craig put up his drawings, Jeffrey looked at him, he said, home run.
I just kind of did a bunch of sketches, and they picked some out. They said, we like these, these 4 drawings, and they just happened to be very graphic, very two-dimensional characters, the kind of designs that hadn't attempted in 3D before.
Alex is really our lead character because he's very chesty with a small waist. But he also needs to be very expressive. So there's this huge, very simple mane that frames his face.
I love his look. I think his hair is incredible. I wish I had Alex's hair. I'm mesmerized by it. Whenever he shakes his head, there's this sort of ripple effect. Kind of got like a white.
Took the film. They also want the.
Comes down his head. First his head might squash, and then his shoulders might squash into his head, and then his chest might squash, and his hips might squash. So they all compress, and they store this energy, and then they pop out of it. And this happens quite often.
This film needed to be really active and fun, and a lot of the influences were, of course, Tex Avery and Chuck Jones in the 30s and 40s, that they had done this animation that was very broad, very big, very comedic and slapstick. Oh, I got it! Would you give a clear break?
But you can't just lift ideas and then put them into 3D and expect them to work. So we really started a little bit of trial and error. Let's try stretching this thing and see what happens. And then there's a lot of problems. When you have fur, it doesn't work just like a simple cartoon.
To really get the characters to squash and stretch and have a huge range of motion, being able to take their jaw and drop it down to their chest. That was something new for us to develop.
We would normally have limits on our characters and we would never expect to raise the arm beyond this. This film, we blew those out the door. We have to be able to squish Alex down to a foot high.
Bringing Madagascar to the screen was a 4-year effort completed by nearly 250 artists.
Set up these puppets, is sort of what they are, these virtual puppets, so that they have that kind of a flexibility. And what that then allows us to do is to really get some really fun snap and action in the animation that we hope is pushing the boundary for computer animation.
And I think it's one of the things that visually is most entertaining about the movie. They're funny.
Bringing Madagascar to the screen was a 4-year effort completed by nearly 250 artists on 2 separate production campuses in California.
Production is actually making it come to life.
What's behind it? What's on the side of it?
Before the actual computer animation can begin, clay figurines and miniature models are built from sketches and paintings, so the filmmakers have a 3-dimensional perspective of the characters and locations for the movie.
I'll do what is exactly the painting, but I get to fill in the 360 degrees, what's behind it, what's on the side of it. So that's the freedom that I get, is to flesh out a lot of these environments. I did a model of the zoo, and I did a boat, and I did probably a whole forest of baobab trees. In reality, I had no idea that these things even existed, but for some reason I spent a personal, good investment of my life with them for like 5 months, studying these bizarre-looking trees. No! No!
To get the characters to move the way they...
Mason the monkey.
Just come.
and Shrek 2 to round out the movie's crazy cast of characters.
I saw in the Times that Donald Trump is speaking at Stony Brook. And of course we're going to throw poo at him.
Along with being one of the directors of Shrek 2, I was a plethora of voices in the movie, one being the gingerbread man.
And now from this voice here, over to
Madagascar, where I am doing now a role called Mason the Monkey.
Mason the Monkey, which is a really bad impression of James Mason I used to do. Wake up, you filthy monkey. His tea is perfect, and he likes his paper in the morning. Bagel, cream cheese, just so,
So it's that kind of a person. It's like, they're monkeys, but they're very high-class monkeys.
if you have any poo, fling it now.
I couldn't believe how they did the water. The water and the fire and the film. It's just so realistic.
We have a lot of water on Madagascar. Quite a few sequences are either on the open ocean or on the beach. We had to design systems where we're literally hand animating the shape of the waves, and we can totally control the timing, the height. There's one sequence where Marty the zebra is actually surfing on the waves, and we had to be able to totally choreograph what the wave was.
The story is.
Here come the people! Oh! I love the people!
Madagascar brings together some of the biggest names in entertainment to give life to the party animals.
Works for me.
Including Ben Stiller, Chris Rock, David Schwimmer, Jada Pinkett Smith.
These are New Yorkers. These are like dyed-in-the-wool New Yorkers. There's Alex the lion. There's Marty zebra. And there's Melman, who's the hypochondriacal giraffe that David Schwimmer plays. Jada Pinkett Smith plays Gloria, the hippo. It's like a very sweet, feminine, strong-minded, sexy hippo. Which is nice to see a sexy hippo on film, because I don't think we've seen one for a while. It's incredibly pampered, as Alex says. There's fans, there's food, there's pampering. What could you want?
Here come the people! Oh! I love the people! It's fun people fun time!
Okay, Alex, he loves the adulation of the crowds, and he's very comfortable in his world. But then, by being forced out of his element, his environment, he grows as a lion.
Ben Stiller is a great Alex. Alex is this guy that's confident when he's got all of his ducks in a row. But when things start to fall apart, get me out of here! Alex does too.
Marty! Yeah! All right! That's right!
I'm Marty the zebra, and I come up with this whole scale to get out of the suit.
Let's go. What the wild? Come on, you and me together!
The fact that Chris Rock is playing a zebra who doesn't know if he's white with black stripes or if he's black with white stripes. We all know that Chris can be very controversial as far as racial issues, and I thought that was hilarious that he was chosen for that. Marty is somebody who has always looked outside, and for him in the same way is finding that doesn't matter where he is, if he's with his friends, he can be happy.
I love animated films. I'm a huge fan, and I've always wanted to be the voice of some character. When I heard it was a giraffe, I was just really excited. I don't know if it was a thing that they had written or not, but when they were talking about how he was neurotic and hypochondriac, paranoid, I felt that. Sorry, that's the spot. Oh, I'm in heaven.
He's happy with his phobias, complete hypochondriac. There's Kleenex boxes on his feet, but he loves it. It's a zoo transfer.
Zoo transfer? Oh no, I can't be transferred. I have an appointment with Dr. Goldberg at 5.
Well, I would describe Gloria as being